Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. My name is Jens Hoppe. I'm part of the Product Solutions Product and Service team located in Frankfurt, Germany. I'd like to welcome you to our online presentation or workshop, Avid Remote Collaboration and Workflow. The Broadcast Solutions team here is offering and supporting Avid products for more than 25 years now. And we always try to keep our customer base up to date with the current product range and workflows offered by Avid. For many years we did this by inviting to our house show in our office or other locations in Frankfurt and Stuttgart. This year, for obvious reasons, we are using the online platform. Today we have a presentation covering 3 topics. The first one is the classic What's New in Avid Media Composer. And regarding the next 2 topics, please try not to mix them up. Edit on demand is an approach very different from editorial management. That's the third topic. Though the names are similar and the user interface and applications are pretty much the same, the one is totally cloud-based, while the other one is on-premise. The common thing is Avid Media Composer as the editing core, that piece of software that's called the Avid for many, many years now. Before I hand over to our product specialists, I'd like to ask you, please use the question and answers tool of Zoom to place questions. I'll streamline the questions to Kolja and Dirk, our presentators, after the workflow presentation. And don't hesitate to mail us or give us a call to ask whatever is not answered here today. Mail and phone contacts are available. That's all from my side at this time. Let me introduce the 2 guys controlling the mouse and keyboards today. My colleague and friend at Broadcast Solutions, Kolja, right next to me.
Hello.
Here in Frankfurt. And Dirk, my friend and product specialist from Avid Germany, located in Berlin today. Gentlemen, it's all yours.
Cool. Hello, I'm Kolja Christowzik from Broadcast Solutions. I'm with Broadcast Solutions for now 25 years roughly, and try to give you an overview over the products with Dirk. And we start with Dirk in Berlin, so let's hand over to Dirk. And here, Dirk, it's your turn. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. So I go and start to share my screen. And yeah, we start with some PowerPoint slides. So we start with Media Composer. So in 2020, we had a lot of new releases, also 5 new releases of Media Composer. And I like to point out 2020.4 and 2020.12. So in 2020.4, we did a lot under the heart of Media Composer. So we had this replacement of the QuickTime libraries, and we are using the universal media engine instead. So file-based workflows are much, much faster. For example, when you export movie files, you can do that up to 3 times faster. You can transcode DNxHR or DNxHD up to 25% faster. You have a faster response when you trim or scrub at your timeline. And we support more formats like PNG, TIFF, JPEG, image sequences. And when you deal with 4K and larger H.264 files. So this is what was implemented in 2020.4. In 2020.12, we have a lot of new cool updates on Audio Mixer, on the title tool. We support H.265. Media Composer become much more colorful. And we have new languages for phrase find. So I'd like to give you now a little a demo on this points here. And I'm pretty happy to use a nice project from Mavi Film, a nice movie trailer. So I switched to my Media Composer and I'd like to give you a short introduction here of that trailer project.
Ich bin sehr stolz, Bürgermeister dieser Stadt zu sein, die eine außerordentlich nachgerade erschreckend geringe Kriminalitätsrate aufweist.
Ich kenne ein bisschen Ihre Kriminalitätsstatistik. Und
die ist ja wohl mega.
Die sind alles in bester Ordnung.
Da ist überhaupt nichts los.
Genau das bisschen, was wir hier zu tun haben.
Let's go a little bit faster forward. JKL. Stop it here and play.
Soweit. Ich bin über dich im Bilde, Fräulein.
Ich bin hier wirklich in der Provinz, oder?
Mittendrin.
Eine absolute Scheiß-Schande!
Bisschen wie im Fernsehen, oder?
Kino ist geiler.
Yeah, this was, by the way, a movie which was last year in cinema. Title is Faking Bullshit. We don't fake here, and we don't show you bullshit. I think you will see it. So what we do here later on with Edit on Demand and Editorial Management is all live together with my colleague Kolja. Anyway, you see now Media Composer is super colorful. You can colorize your bins, you can colorize your video tracks. We have here a typical Media Composer project with 8 video tracks, over 20 audio tracks. And new is that you can colorize now your whole interface. By the way, this is new. These are the bin color columns. And when you go to File, Settings, you see when you go to User, and then in User to your interface settings, you can go to bin and you colorize, for example, your bin by clicking here and choosing a color. Let's take, why not purple? So I click OK, and then I go to Timeline and Viewer, and you can choose here if you like pink, but I use purple, and here for my timeline as well, purple. So I click here at the button and choose my color. And as you can see, when I click OK, apply, the whole Media Composer is much more colorful. The next thing I like to show you is the workspaces. Now you're maybe already familiar with the workspaces. I have here a workspace where I can show you the sequence map. So when I zoom in, you have here a very nice tool to navigate at your timeline. I have here as well the console implemented, and it's again a very nice tool to check your current timeline. And next I like to show you is the audio mixer. The audio mixer is pretty nice integrated. You can scale the audio mixer, so there's a really nice resize function. Of course, you can undock this audio mixer as well. You see now we have here a blank panel, a kind of placeholder. So with the Alt button, I can bring it back and I delete the blank panel. So this is pretty nice now integrated into Media Composer, and you can deal with 64 audio tracks if you like. I like to point out here in this case as well phrase find. So I go to my dual screen, and then I use Control F to get my find window. And when I type in police, or the Polizei, and use phrase find, by the way, you see here all the languages. Yeah, of course, I use here in this case German. Phrase find is looking for clips inside that project with the name Polizei. So it's currently searching. And voila, you get now a list of clips with some scores. So when I take here the score of close to 90, I can load that clip and I can play.
Hilfe bei einer polizeilichen Aktion.
And you hear the word Polizei.
Ich bin von der Polizeidirektion Düsseldorf.
A very cool, nice tool.
Später. Was für eine polizeiliche Aktion?
Okay. Now I'd like to show you some enhancements in our title tool. So I go to Effects, and then I switch here to my bins and load a sequence with a nice drone shot. By the way, this was the first shot of the trailer. You see here a little village with a drone shot. So I set my in point here, I set my out point, and then I switch back to my effects palette and choose here the titler plus. This is what we call a mini menu, and I can type in now, for example, first of all, I go for the right font, take an Arial, and then I type in, for example, Germany from above. And as you can see, I cannot move that currently, that box. But when I select this box, when I'm in the selection mode, I can move that box, and we have here new alignment tools. So I can center my text board, or I can do here a vertical or horizontal alignment of that box. That's not all. So when I center it, you can double click and you can colorize a word but you can colorize as well a single letter. So I choose here, for example, black color or red color. Oops, sorry. And I take here, for example, with a double click, the E, and change this color to red or to another color. And nice is, when you go back to selection, you can track this text as well. You have inside your title tool a tracker. So what I do is I place my tracker here close to the church. Then I zoom in. Then I define here the space where the tracker is looking for that target here for that window. The movement is pretty slow, so I scale this a little bit down. Then I move out, and then I am able to track. So that this text will following here this movement, this camera movement of the church. I go back, display, effect result. Then I select my text box and choose here my tracker effect. And as you can see, this text is now moving with a church. Okay, this is a drone shot. So when I go back to editing, you see that we have here H.265 material. So this is, again, drone material. So when I double click, you can see this in my source browser. And here you see that we support now H.265 natively in Media Composer. So when by the way, when you shoot HDR, for example, with a drone, you have to choose H.265. And when you import this, when you link this into Media Composer, you go to source settings, you see here already a color transformation. This is an automatic color transformation. The project is Rec 709. And when you shoot HDR in 265, you get the color transformation from Rec 2020 to Rec 709. So you can delete this. And then you can apply your own color transformation. So when I go to my color adapters, I can find here HLG 2020 to 709 Ni, for example. So when I add this, I have a nicer picture where I can start to grade that content. So when I hit apply, I have this color transformation directly at the clip. Okay, this was the short Media Composer part. So I can iconize now my Media Composer and go ahead with the PowerPoint. Let's talk about Edit on Demand. So what is Edit on Demand? Edit on Demand is a full virtual production environment in Avid first SaaS offering. So SaaS stands for Software as a Service, and it's a complete cloud solution giving you the experience working in the facility, but you can be remote, so you can do that from home. We have a simple weekly or monthly pricing, and with one subscription, you can get up to 30 Media Composer seats with 200 terabyte of Nexus cloud storage. So what are the components? So when you go for an Avid on-demand system, you can get the Media Composer seat weekly or monthly. Again, you can get up to 30 editing seats with 60 users. Of course, you can work as well with 2 users on an Edit on Demand system. And as I said, we have editing hours per seat. That means every user every editor on a Media Composer can run an Edit on Demand system weekly 40 hours or monthly 174 hours. So imagine that's a pool. So when you have, for example, 2 users weekly, you have 80 hours. So one user can spend 60 hours at the system, the second user 20 hours. And please keep in mind, these are these are the virtual machine uptime hours. So we're using here high performance virtual machines, which is of course a cost factor when they run 24/7. So think green, yeah, think, yeah, if you don't use it, please log off, you know. Yeah, to save costs, and of course, we have to pay as well when these systems are running in the cloud. As I said, that's a normal Media Composer. This is not a special build. So when you're familiar with Media Composer, it's a no-brainer. So you can start an edit on demand system, and you can use as well, of course, a Nexus cloud storage. With one user, you can use 1 terabyte, but you can have as well up to 200 terabyte on an edit on demand system. The upload and download will be handled by a little piece of software called File Catalyst. I'll show you in a minute. And upload is always free, always for free. The download is a cost factor, but we offer 1 terabyte download here, in this case as well, for free. Support is included, and there are no overage charges, so there are no hidden fees. So it's really, yeah. Yeah, imagine, you know, when you use, for example, weekly with 2 users, 82 hours, we wouldn't charge this, yeah. But we always recommend, you know, to shut down the system after your daily work. So what's the target market? So, or what you can do with an edit on demand system? Everything. You can use it for offline editing, but you can do as well long form documentaries, comedy, entertainment, game shows, but it's as well good for promos, advertising. And imagine the following scenario. You have here a mobile lab, you have here a remote editor, you have here your post-production facility. So when we look at this mobile lab, the first you can copy your material on your on-prem storage. Then you would transcode your files and upload the proxies by using File Catalyst. The remote editor can access the material, can start editing, and after you download only the project and the bins, and you do the conforming in your post-production facility and finish the whole program. So this is the idea. And you can use as well plugins, or so we have approved third-party applications for edit on demand. So you can use the Boris Continuum or Sapphire plugins. You can use as well AMA plugins. So the customer, you have to provide the node.js licenses, and then we would implement that licenses and install all the plugins you need for your production. There's as well a way to use, we call it over-the-shoulder collaboration solution. So when you have a reviewer or producer would like to see the status of the production, we can use Zoom. So in Media Composer, you can define with NDI, with our NDI tools, an NDI output. And this output can be used in a Zoom conference to see, without a TerraDigi client, the status of the production. So these guys can talk to each other and can check and can work together in the edit on demand, at the edit on demand system. We support, beside Zoom, as well Microsoft Teams. So we have now here the following scenario, what we show now live. So Kolja is in Frankfurt, and he's using a mobile client. So he's already connected to our Avid on demand system, and I'm sitting in Berlin and use now File Catalyst to upload a file. What we did already, we upload a TV show, a talk show, to our Edit on Demand system, and we have here a multicam project because we like to show you the performance of an Edit on Demand system as well. For this reason, we have multicam here. We uploaded a multicam project. There is one file at the end missing, and I will upload this file for Kolja using the File Catalyst software. So I go to my web browser. Yep, and what you see here at the left-hand side, as you can see, this is Chrome, what I use, yeah. So it's not a special software, it's a client application, and I can browse now to the files for Kolja, and I will upload this file. This is 1 gig, as you can see, or close to 1 gig. So I browse to my workspaces on my cloud system. So this is, as you can see, this is these are Nexus workspaces. So I can double click and I can access now bins to upload the content. So it's, here's some processing. So I think it will take a second, voila. And then I go to uploads, broadcast solution, and upload that file now for Kolja by clicking on upload. The upload starts. Of course, you can upload folders as well. And now it starts to transferring, so 5 minutes. And at this point, I like to show you how to log in. So I stop my PowerPoint, and as you can see, I have here the TerraDigi client at my PC, at my laptop. So when I double click, I see here the client software. I have to log in. And then I see 2 media composers in this case. The left one is already in session. So Kolja is already connected to our Edit on Demand system, which is, by the way, in Amsterdam. And the second media composer is stopped. So I can start this, and later on, we will be at the same project by using Edit on Demand. So I connect now to that system and switch to Kolja. So I stop share, and Kolja, this is now your part.
Okay, thank you, Dirk. So welcome back in Frankfurt. So basically, Dirk already introduced the client to you. So here at my screen, I already have the client open. To be honest, this takes 4 to 5 minutes to really spin up the system. So it's always, well, good practice to show it like this, because you saw how to get in there, and now you see it here on my desk. Here we have the running TerraDigi client. So the blue background is my local desktop of my local machine here. And the one with the black background here is actually the virtual system running in the cloud in Amsterdam. Let me just maximize it, because obviously you would like to use it in full screen mode. And the Media Composer is already started. And here we have our project Dirk was already talking about. So we just open it, and it's basically a regular Media Composer, except for it's not on premise, but somewhere in the cloud, a couple of 100 kilometers away from me. What we have here is actually a comedy show with audience and so on. That was shot with 7 cameras. It could be more, but in this case, we only had 7 cameras. And here we have this multicam mode, just to show you what happens. So I can run the clips linked together, so they're all in sync, and I can just type in where to cut, like on a live mixer. And if you look at the task manager with us here in the performance tab, we can show you on the Ethernet. If we hit play here in that timeline, you see that we are really playing up to 1.4 gigabytes per second right now, since the 7 cameras are rolling simultaneously. So we really have the performance like on a local system, even though the system is in the cloud. One thing, for those of you who are not familiar with working in Avid environment with shared storage, that I would like to point out is this little green lock here in my bin. So in the bin I have my footage organized as usual with Media Composer. But the new thing for working with an access storage, or formerly with an ISIS storage, is that little green lock, which shows that I have read-write access to that bin. If anyone else would open that bin right now, they would get a red lock. So they could read it, but they cannot alter anything inside that bin. That is basically just to provide that someone else is going to alter my sequence while I'm doing something on it, and well, I start to work at the end of the sequence and someone else maybe messes up the beginning. So by this mechanism, this is prevented, and there should be no issues with that. You can open that one. If it's a red lock, you can save a copy of it, but you cannot save the same one. What we already did here is our multicam editing. So we have the show going on and going back and forth from the guy and to the audience and back and forth. It's basically, I'm afraid it will not turn out on the web meeting right now, but the mouse is just like on the local system. It's really, well, you have to do it yourself to really believe it, but there is no latency, no nothing. It really feels like a local Media Composer installation, even though it's in Amsterdam and I'm in Frankfurt, a couple hundred kilometers away. What we did for the upload part here is we have the show, and at the end of the show, there is a predefined, pre-produced film that is being presented to the audience on the video wall over there. And of course, now for the final TV show, we would like to switch over to a full screen of that one. So I already tried to pick a good point here in the timeline where I just created a marker for. Sorry, picked the wrong one. Here we go. So here we already have the marker switched to full screen because this is just an edit in that dissolve. And so I open just a new bin called Link Media in this case. Oops, that shouldn't be there. And go for input, source browser. And then I go just to my editing workspace, to my uploads folder, to my broadcast solutions folder, to the one with the movie, and Dirk already placed the movie here for me. So that is the roughly 1 gigabyte upload that Dirk just started a couple of minutes ago from Berlin. And I just link that one. And we're good to go with the full screen one here. So I try to pick the same spot in the sequence where we have that little cut here. Looks like that's the right spot. And then I simply add a new video track. Move that one over. I don't want the audio in this case. And just place my new clip in here. And if you have a look here, we just have our regular footage rolling as we had it before. And now within the dissolve, we switch over to the full screen, which Dirk just uploaded from Berlin to Amsterdam, and I'm using it in Frankfurt right now. Well, Dirk, did I miss something?
I think no, that's perfect. Let's switch back to me, I think, now, and I show you that I am on the same system. So
let me just do one more thing because I missed something.
Oh,
here we have the sequence, which is still not saved. So I have the clip on my side here, but Dirk doesn't have it. So I just simply save it once. Now the clip should show up at Dirk. If we now switch to Dirk, he could open that final sequence bin, but should have a red lock, so he cannot alter it. Let's switch to Dirk, and once he showed you the red lock, I will close the bin here, and he can start editing it.
Okay, so as well, it's the same system, so I can open the same project, as you can see. So here's my broadcast solution project. So when I open that project, you can see that we are together now working on that project, and this is what Kolja mentions, is red lock. So when I open that sequence, but I can open the sequence, that's no problem. Of course, I cannot save in that bin, but you see here what Kolja did 2 minutes ago. This is my multicam sequence with a clip I sent to the Edit on Demand system 5 minutes ago.
Okay,
8 minutes
so
ago.
now if you would like to do any changes to that sequence, I simply close the sequence at my side. And now you should be able to refresh the log and you should get a green log.
Voila.
And you could do some editing on that sequence.
Correct. So this is a kind of really cool remote collaboration by using a virtual machine in Amsterdam, an Edit on Demand system where 2 users, one in Frankfurt, one in Berlin, can access one project and can work together. That was the goal we wanted to show. So when I iconize, you see here again my Edit on Demand desktop. And here you see as well that we have our Nexus workspaces and where we can access our Nexus dashboard, to add users, to resize, the work groups, for example. And when you're familiar with Nexus, that's really easy for you to work with the system. Here you can see I shut down now my Edit on Demand system. So I go to Power, shut down, and then my Edit on Demand system will shut down, and I'm back on my desktop with the TerraDigi PC over IP client. Okay, let's go back to PowerPoint. So I go again in the PowerPoint mode. And let's talk about security. So we have 3 levels of security: PC over IP security, we have data security, and we have cloud security. So in general, we can say the whole content is encrypted, so it's absolutely secure. And I like to point out pen testing. As pen stands for penetration. So we work with third-party companies and ask them to hack the system, and it wasn't possible. And keep in mind, every user or every customer has his own Nexus storage, so you would never mix productions with other customers at one EOD system. It's completely separated and it's completely secure in that case. So how you get this Edit on Demand? How you do the subscription? So the customer orders the credits. In this case, you have to ask Broadcast Solution, for the credits. Then a code will issued, and you have to use your myavid.count page, to apply these credits. And then the deployment starts. So it can take 2 to 4 hours to make the system for you available. And after this, you have to configure your Edit on Demand system by creating users, by creating workspaces, by set up permissions to that system. Then users can log into TerraDigi and has to change the passwords, and you are ready to edit. So this is really straightforward. It's a self-service application. Of course, you can get help, but in general, it's really straightforward, and there are absolutely no issues to get access to that. Let's switch to PowerPoint because. Okay, so when you create a subscription, you have to define a region, and you have to define a region, and you have to define what kind of seat. This is here our dashboard, and I can show you this by using here my web browser. One moment. Yeah. So this is my Avid account, and here you see now I have access to the Avid on Demand portal. So when I click on this, let's sign in first. Then you have here the possibility, when I click on Edit, to define the users for your Edit on Demand system. And when you click on System, you can download the TerraDigi client, buy that dashboard, accessing this dashboard, or as well the File Catalyst transfer agent. So it's very easy. Also, only these two components need to be installed, and then you can start, configure the system. Important is that this is current. This will be available in April. Another part of the dashboard where you see the cloud storage, the usage of the cloud storage, the data download, but as well the editing hours. The pool, in this case, of 200 hours. I told you standard seed. What is a standard seed? We have two different seed types. One is standard. We recommend standard for basic editing, for DNX or DNX HR, and an advanced seed for CPU intensive media for 4K or for higher. You can choose when you set up your subscription between the current Media Composer 2021.2 or an older one 2018.12. And these are the regions. So as I said, we are connected to a system in Amsterdam. We have the data centers, Azure data centers in the US, in Europe, but as well in Japan or Australia. So it wouldn't make sense for you as a European customer to choose a data center outside Europe. So please, stay in your region, and then you have, also better response of the system. We had an early access program. Post houses, production companies, but as well enterprise customers. Post house, for example, Gorilla in the UK, Jared or Televisa or France TV, they're completely amazed by the system. And here I like to show you now a 2-minute testimonial from Gorilla. So I stop share and we show you the movie now on the screen.
The Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, just moments ago announced the country will go into a complete lockdown. Most staff will be working from home.
Corona happened. Every edit suite in the building that's currently running needs to be out and about and being installed in everyone's house. To be honest, I don't think I've ever done anything quite like this.
Gorilla TV has been going for about 20 years now in Cardiff. We have 3 sites. We now have round about 100 Avid systems. We pretty much do all genres of post.
So Avid approached us with a new facility they have, Edit on Demand, which is basically cloud editing and Cloud Nexus storage all combined into one service. So we did a week's demo, thought it was a fantastic new product, absolutely brilliant. Little did we know we'd actually be using it for real thanks to Corona. We needed editors to work remotely, quickly.
Everything pretty much happened in a week. We had lots of our clients just asking for us to move to editors' homes.
And Avid Edit on Demand from a technical aspect was no different really than any one of our edit suites here.
The editors didn't know that the Nexus was in the cloud. They actually thought they were remotely accessing into our system on-prem.
They said the responsiveness and the power and flexibility it gave them to do their edits pretty much anywhere they wanted.
Connecting to Edit on Demand was easy and straightforward. It's lightning fast.
In Wales and the UK in general, we don't have that great connectivity at home, yet everything works very well with the technology that we're using. We need to collaborate without geographical boundaries.
I would definitely recommend Edit on Demand. You forget that it's a virtual PC, you forget that you're streaming media from the cloud. It's fantastic.
From a remote working point of view, I can't think of any other facility that does what Edit on Demand does as well as it does.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Hello?
Dirk.
Okay, so this was the testimonial. let's talk about prices. So as I said, we have you can get the system weekly or on a monthly basis, and this is, for example, the price for the subscription monthly. And the advanced seat is around about 1,250 euros. When you go for an advanced seat per week, it's 316 euros. So I think that is a very good price for getting a full virtual production environment in the cloud.
Doch die Kamera, der ist zu sehen.
Okay, so the next one is editorial management. And this is a complete different story. Because this is not a cloud system. So for what is it good for? It's a platform for collaboration. It's for editors, assistant cutters, or producers. You can search, browse, log, and review and approve content by using Cloud UX web client. It's perfect for post-production workflows. It's a kind of production asset management system based on a Nexus storage. And yeah, it's good to share bins, projects across multiple editors. We have the following setup. So we have at Broadcast Solution in Frankfurt an editorial management system. So you see here the components. It's a Nexus storage with the editorial management server. Access server, we have a search engine, we have a bin indexer, and you can use editorial central pane to implement this into Media Composer, but as well in Adobe Premiere. So that you can integrate a panel to your user interface in Media Composer or Premiere. What I will do is I use a Chrome browser to access the media, the storage in Frankfurt, again, by using a Chrome browser. But before I do this, I like to switch to Kolja because he likes to show you the project, what we have in Frankfurt. So at this point, I stop share, and Kolja, it's your stage.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dirk. Yes, so basically, what you see here is actually the screen, the monitor of that editorial management server. There is not much you can do actually. Once it's set up and configured, it's just doing its magic under the hood, and you don't really have to care about it actually. And here we have a Media Composer again, but this time it's really a local Media Composer installation on premise. And we have this little longboard project here, and underneath the login for the project, I have a login for the editorial management system. So I just enter my username and my password, and I log into that editorial management system. So this is just the login for the enhanced services that the system will offer me. Once this button turned green, I'm logged in, and I just open my project as a regular Media Composer project as usual. And then as soon as I'm logged in, I will have one more panel than you don't have if it's just a Media Composer installation. And that one panel is kind of what Dirk also has available in the browser over in Berlin. So there is so here we go. So here we have a sequenced project. It's actually some fancy video shot in Berlin on an old airfield where they do, well, dancing on skateboards somehow.
Yeah, we have no, by the way, we have no rights for the music. For this reason, we muted the audio tracks.
Yes. So, yeah. But basically, well, what we have here is we have some footage that was shot with this little robo camera that is following the skateboards. Then we have a lot of footage that was shot with a drone. So here you see the little camera actually following that guy. And what we have for sure is we have a boy and a girl performing in front of the camera. So I already did a little work on that one and just categorized the shots. So the purple ones are, or the pink ones are the girl, and the blue ones are the boy. So I added a column here saying gender, where you see it's either girl or boy. That was really just work done manually by logging through the footage and just adding what happened. We also have the location there. We have the camera that shot it. Of course, in the RoboCam bin, it's always the RoboCam. And also we have some clips here where we added a comment, either turn, that is if someone just turns in front of the camera. Let me show you here. So here the girl just turns, or does a trick. So something else than a turn, but here like this, jumping off the board and getting back on it. And well, so I already did this work for Dirk because he asked me to, can you just categorize what we have there? And well, now since all this is done locally here on my Media Composer in Frankfurt, and all the clips are locally here on my Nexus system in Frankfurt, it's really servers physically next door to me, so I could go over there and touch them. And Dirk has the ability now to log in from his laptop in Berlin in his home office without any fancy hardware or whatever. Well, you just need a system that can run a Chrome browser basically. And he can access the structure of my project from his web browser and can see the footage I have. So this server, which is on top of the storage system here, will create proxies on the fly as he goes and watches them. And well, so now that we already did some work here and created the clips with tricks and turn, I hand over to Dirk to Berlin and ask him to create me a sequence with the turns if he likes. I don't like the tricks, but I like the turns. Can you just create me a sequence?
Okay, I will. So I share my screen again. And then I use again here my Chrome browser, which is here. And here I can log in now into Kolja's system. So I type in my password, name and password. Oops, hide. Okay, and what you see here is now the Nexus. And this Nexus with my Avid project, with my longboard project. So I can see here the bins of Kolja's Media Composer project, they are open. I can see that by this little red locker here. But I can access them. So we have here a couple of bins. So for example, the drone shots. And here's a list of my drone shots. And when I double click, you can see I can load that clip into a viewer and I can play back that clip.
Let me just go back in here, and this is really a clip that is being streamed live from my server here in Frankfurt now. So there's nothing locally on Dirk's system. It's really being created on the fly as he hits play.
Yeah.
And the red locks are actually the same that we had before. So that's just the Media Composer standard behavior. If you work on shared storage and someone else already opened that bin, it's locked either if it's in the Media Composer or even in that web interface. So you cannot mess up the work of someone else by accident.
Okay, Kolja, and you want me to make a little sequence with turns. So first of all, I right click and I can generate a bin at Kolja's Media Composer by using a Chrome browser. So I go to create bin and I call that bin, let's call it for Kolja. Then I create that bin and that bin will appear, that bin will appear here now for Kolja. As you can see, I can access that bin. Now I go here to my search function. So I can drag and drop this search function here to my interface, and then I can search for words. For example, I want to see the shots of the girl. Then I get a list of all the shots And nice is you see here as well the metadata, the metadata of all these shots, which was applied in Media Composer. But you see here as well this little eye icon. So when I click on this, you see here again metadata, but as well metadata on the timeline if you have some. So this is pretty cool. We have here as well the possibility to check the audio, to work on the audio. And we have here, I'll show you this in a minute, to add locators to clips. Nice is when you use here this browse function, you can combine word search words. So I can choose here, or I can add the word turn, for example. And then I can say and, or, and not. So when I click, for example, when I choose or, I would see here some subclips. And now I open that bin and drag and drop these subclips to that bin I generated here by using the web browser. So when I close now my search window, by the way, you can save as well favorites if you like, Robocam girl turn, for example. So like you can save this, what you searched for. So, but in my case now, I have here these 4 subclips. So I select them all, and with the right click, I can create a sequence. So I create a sequence, I get this window, I can rearrange all shots and call this as well for Kolja underscore turns, maybe, and submit. So this sequence is now generated in that bin. So when I use here the refresh button, this can take a minute. Oh, not a minute.
It should be a minute, but
no, it shouldn't be a minute. One moment.
Well, Dirk, actually, probably your browser is hanging. So if we switch over to me again, here it already appeared in my Media Composer system.
Okay.
So if we go back to my system here, you see here this 4 Kolja bin just showed up, and already the clips are in here and the sequence appeared in here. So I just double click that sequence and I have that pretty flat sequence here. Dirk already did some editing there. And of course I can go here and do all the regular Media Composer stuff by kind of trim one side a little bit and well, whatever I like. I can of course add a title, for example. So that's really just back to regular Media Composer work from here. But the real fancy thing is that Dirk just was sitting in Berlin at his laptop and accessing the footage on my local system here in Frankfurt. And well, he could create the sequence, could annotate the sequence if he likes, do everything. And one thing I forgot to show you is the editorial management panel here in Media Composer. So I just hit the button for the editorial management panel, or grab it from the tools, would work as well here, doesn't matter. And now I have here the same panel as a part of a Media Composer interface that Dirk was opening in his browser. So if I go for the search here, I can do the same search. So I go for girl, for example, and search that, and I get all the results for the girl. It's a bit too small now. Here you go. Oh, just realize if you type it right, you find it. So here we go. Oh, sorry. Now I double-click the search. So I find all the girls. If I add another column like Dirk did before, let's try to type it right this time. And I have the search, now I have the search for girl and turn. There obviously is no clip that works for girl and turn. So if I change that condition to or, I get all the clips that either say girl or turn, or I can change it to and again, so I get nothing. And if I just delete, for example, the girl, it will leave me back with only the turn. Did I mistype it again? Let's try again. Now we only have the turns. Cool. Well,
yeah, cool.
That's basically what is editorial management about. So you can collaborate across the world, from just local systems on premise with much power, and anyone can collaborate with you just from his browser somewhere in the world remotely.
Pretty
That's
cool.
what it's all about.
Nice. So I go back to my screen, I think. Yeah. And important is, of course, you can have this editorial management panel as well inside Adobe Premiere. Works as well with search or with search and browse. So it's the same functionality here inside Premiere, as I said, or inside Media Composer, and that is all based on a Nexus storage and gives you the possibility as well to use the Chrome browser for remote workflows. Good, I think. Jens?
Dirk?
I think it's your turn again.
Yeah.
I think we are done with the presentation. I think it was a lot of information.
Of course, there are a few questions we might answer together. Thank you for your presentation, both of you. And I just have a look what questions arrived. There's one regarding the edit on demand. Do we support an edit while upload feature? Imagine a big file is uploaded via file catalyst. Can we edit on the growing file? That's the question.
No, currently not. So we use only file catalyst for the upload, of course, for security reasons as well. And currently, that's not possible. So you have to upload all files by using file catalyst currently. So there's no other way currently.
We have to wait until the upload is finished before we can link to the file. Okay.
Correct.
Another question to edit on demand was, what about using effect plugins within the hosted Media Composer in the data center? Is it supported? Is it possible?
It is supported. Of course, the customer has to offer the license for Sapphire plugins, for the Boris Continuum plugins, for example, Mocha. But we would install them and the customer can use them, no problem.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect, thank you. And right at the beginning, you mentioned the phrase find features of Media Composer.
Mm-hmm.
There's one question, which languages are supported? To be honest, I just...
many languages.
I just had a look. I think I can answer it myself. It's Arabic, Dutch, English, Flemish, French, German, Hebrew, Hindi, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Chinese, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Thai, Turkish. That's the entire list.
Yeah.
And Brazilian Portuguese.
Yes. So, let's have a look. The final question for this, the third one. When using editorial management and the internet connected users using Chrome to dial into our system, what's technically needed to allow this?
That's not too much. You basically need 3 ports open in your firewall settings, and that's all you need. It's 5,580 and 443 if I'm not totally mistaken, but don't take me for that. I have to look that up, but it's really just a bunch of ports, 3 if I remember correctly. and then you can log into the system. Of course, the editorial management server needs to have some kind of static IP address that you can access that one from the outside. Or you just dial into the network with a VPN client or something like that. That should do the trick as well. So there's two ways. You either expose those ports from the server to the internet, and then anyone can access it, or you just let the guys into your private network, and then they access it from there. Should be less firewall hassle and maybe a little more secure, but I don't see any reasons why not getting it to the World Wide Web, because you have to log in and there's not so much damage you can do.
So you need to have 2 or 3 steps with your IT department or with your internet provider to allow the dial into your own network. That's not Avid's responsibility, but your own responsibility. Let me have a look. No, I think that's it. Those 3 questions arrived. Thank you for answering. And I think that's everything we wanted to tell you and to show you. And we're looking forward to receive your questions via email or phone. I think everybody knows how to contact us, so feel free to do this at any time.
Cool.
I think that's it. Thanks to Dirk, to Berlin. We see you in the afternoon again. There will be the same event in German language. So if you know somebody else who should join the show in the afternoon, please tell them. We have more seats free. And
or if you come up with any questions in the meantime, of course you can ask them in that session as well. Even in English, we will answer them.
Of course. So that's it.
Thank you
for joining.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good time. Stay safe.